Last week, I reviewed an immigration file that looked perfect on paper. Eligible, complete, competitive scores. It was refused. Not because of missing documents, not because of low points. It was refused because the application was submitted 4 months too early, and that single decision permanently changed how IRCC will evaluate this person. For years. If you are preparing an immigration application for Canada, or you've already submitted one and feel uneasy, this video may save you from making a very expensive mistake. Stay with me.
In 2026, most refused applications are not refused because applicants are unqualified. They are refused because the application was submitted at the wrong time, in the wrong sequence. Today, I'm not talking about programs. I'm not talking about points. And I'm not giving you a checklist. I'm explaining how IRCC evaluates decision timing and why acting too early can damage your immigration record permanently. This is not a motivational video. This is a decision video. Let's clarify something important. A sequence error does not mean fraud. It does not mean misrepresentation. And it does not mean you are unqualified. A sequence error means that from IRCC's perspective, your actions do not logically align with your stated intent right now. For example, your language scores meet the requirement, but your background explanation doesn't justify why you're applying at this moment. Your occupation appears on an eligibility list, but your career history does not clearly lead to this pathway yet. Your documents are complete, but the narrative logic connecting them is premature. To you, this feels like preparation. To IRCC, this looks like intent that is not fully formed. And this is critical. IRCC does not ask, can this person qualify someday? They ask, does this action make sense today? If you're still watching, this part matters. Because most applicants never realize this distinction until it's too late. Now, let's talk about DIY applicants. DIY applicants are not careless. They are often disciplined, analytical, and highly motivated. In fact, many of them do more research than anyone else. But DIY applicants share one dangerous habit. They self-validate decisions through checklists and peer success stories. If this sounds familiar, pay attention. Your internal logic might sound like this. My documents are complete. My scores are acceptable. Other people with similar profiles succeeded. Here's the problem. IRCC does not evaluate effort. They evaluate behavioral consistency. Completing a checklist proves compliance. It does not prove readiness. Officers are trained to identify premature intent. Applications that technically qualify but lack contextual justification at this stage. That's why many refusal letters never say, you are not eligible. Instead, they quietly suggest that the application does not align with the stated purpose or timing. Quick pause here. If this is useful so far, click like. It helps this reach people who are about to make this mistake. Now I want to address the most dangerous sentence I hear from applicants. I'll just submit first. There's nothing to lose. In 2026, that statement is factually incorrect. Every refusal becomes part of your permanent immigration record. Every future application is evaluated in light of your previous behavior. One refusal increases scrutiny. 2 refusals create a credibility pattern. 3 refusals trigger systemic distrust. You are not gambling on a single outcome. You are training the system how to interpret your decision-making behavior. IRCC does not forget patterns. If you've ever thought, I'll try first and fix it later, this section alone should stop you. One of the most harmful myths in immigration planning is this. If someone else succeeded, I should too. IRCC does not evaluate templates. They evaluate individual narrative logic. 2 applicants can share the same scores, the same occupation, the same pathway, and receive completely opposite decisions. Why? Because IRCC evaluates why now, why this pathway, why this background leads here at this moment. When applicants copy successful examples without understanding timing logic, they replicate structure without intent. That is how sequence errors multiply. If you've been saving other people's approval stories, this is your warning. Before approving any application, IRCC internally evaluates 3 questions. First, does the applicant's background logically lead to this action? Second, is the timing consistent with the stated purpose? Third, does proceeding now create long-term alignment or future risk? If any one of these fails, refusal becomes likely, even when formal eligibility exists. This is why almost eligible applications are so often refused. Eligibility is not approval readiness. If this distinction is new to you, comment below with the word timing. I read them. If you are currently preparing documents, or you've already submitted an application but feel uncertain, or you're rushing because of policy fear or deadlines, your priority should not be to move forward. Your priority should be to determine whether your next step creates a sequence risk. I offer a paid IRCC decision and risk review. This is not representation. I do not fill forms. I do not submit applications. I answer one question only. Should you proceed right now? The link is below. And if you're not ready yet, watch the next video on screen. It explains what waiting correctly actually looks like. Don't rush. Decide.